What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another C4S movie review. And I am here with a couple members of my Anime Lately family. I got my co-host from the C4S Villains podcast, my boy Legend D Vash, and the host of the Anime Lately podcast, Sam the Manga Man. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this episode.
Oh, thank you for
having me.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun doing this review. I've been waiting to do a Fast and Furious review on this channel for a while, and it just makes sense that we would be doing it now, and we will be talking about F9. So right before we get into the movie review itself, we're just going to be talking about our history with the Fast and Furious franchise, talking about when we first started watching the films, which films are kind of like our favorite films leading up to F9, and then we'll get into full spoilers. So Sam, I want to start with you, and I want to know your history with the Fast and Furious franchise.
So, of course, with the whole Fast and Furious franchise, it's all about the cars, all about the engines. And within the 2000s, everybody was raving for cars. Everybody's full interested. The entire movie franchise of Fast and Furious is the reason why so many people has a driver's license. People have to drive in high school. People have to drive before high school, their freshman year, whatever they need to. They just want to drive and be like Paul Walker, be like Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious franchise because they want to burn rubber. Not knowing that they have to pay so much money for cars, the tires for it, the insurance, and all that other stuff. But still, yeah, like it didn't really catch my attention to like get my license right away and try to get a car right away and be a whole speed demon. Like it was cool, a nice design of the cars. I don't believe I watched the first and second one in theaters. I think the first movie I watched in theaters was Fast 5, actually. And the rest I think I've watched in like cable and television because they always have it on repeat. Because then back in the 2000s, like you would repeatedly play Fast Furious and Too Fast Too Furious back to back, play by play on like Fox 5 or local channel. And that's how I'm able to watch those two movies. For the favorite Fast and Furious franchise, I would definitely give it to either Fast 5 or Hobbs and Shaw, and I can give my reasons for that. Fast 5 was actually a lot more interesting because it literally still has the heist, it still have the cars, it's kind of the start establishment of family. It brought in The Rock because like nobody had any hopes for Dwayne The Rock Johnson to do really well into this movie, mainly because this was the start of his acting career. But then when he did this movie, everybody was impressed.
He was doing stuff for a long time before this.
Exactly.
I feel like he had some really good performances before this. Actually thought he was perfect for the Fast and Furious franchise.
Until like we see like what kind of roles he playing, but he plays a colonel, soldier, big brawly dude to try to catch Dominic. Actually, you know what? That fits. Actually, it's a perfect role fit. He did a splendid job onto this developing a new character. He's not one-dimensional. He actually he's his own personality and character. And I guess that's the reason why I like Hobbs and Shaw, because like he himself can literally be in this entire movie without Jason Statham. Because with Jason Statham at number 6, he was just this spy, assassin, killer that his brother got killed and got hurt or whatnot, but he didn't die. But then he came after the entire Fast and Furious people and stuff and family. But and then you have the whole chemistry between Jason Statham and The Rock, literally hating each other because they're like polar opposites. One's a very big military buff dude, while the other guy's a skinny spy and everything. And one does a criminal action, the other one does the whole justice and the whole arresting and crimes and stuff. So that kind of chemistry worked for me, and that's why I put Hobbs and Shaw up there with me in my list of the franchise.
Okay. Yeah, I love Hobbs and Shaw. It's definitely up there for me. Hobbs and Shaw I'm pretty sure it's number 4 on my list. It's such a fun movie for everything you just said. Like just the chemistry between Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Jason Statham. Like they play off of each other so well. And like they set it up perfectly in The Fate of the Furious for Hobbs and Shaw. And I can't wait for the sequel, right? Like, it kind of sucks that Idris is dead in the movie. Spoilers. But I wish he could come back as well. But I'm curious to see what, like, this organization that they're fighting.
Do we truly know he's dead, though?
Yeah. You technically never really know.
This is the second time he died. I don't think they'll bring it back for a third time.
Han died, like, about twice And Letty died about twice.
I mean, Han died Han
died
Han
once.
we were led to believe that Han died once. We were led to believe that Letty died once. You know, so
it felt like twice for both of those characters. You know, with those flashbacks of the movies and changing the different retcon of the scenes and everything. I'm like, okay, sure, I guess.
I feel like the only reason why he's still alive is because of the suit that he was still wearing, and all the pumped up drugs and adrenaline that came with it is what kept his heart beating alive, or so to speak.
Because I mean,
like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he could be dead.
Idris's character literally died. Like, he literally died. Like, Shaw shot him in the head. Like, he's dead, right? And then whatever this organization is, they brought him back to life with technology, and then they shut him down. So unless they're going to reactivate him for some reason, I don't see the point, because if that was the case, then why shut him down in the first place and leave his body, you know? But doesn't matter. Who knows? They can do whatever they want, and I'll be happy. I don't care.
Okay.
But Vash, what about you? What is your history with the Fast and Furious franchise?
What's my history with the Fast and Furious franchise? And I grew up as, you know, loving Transformers, loving G.I. Joe, loving street cars. I want to be a racer. You know, just seeing Spanish people racing in a movie. I was like, yo, that sounds like fun. And I don't think I saw the first movie in theaters, because that's in 2001. I was like 5 years old. I don't think so, that I recall and remember. But I know I saw 2 Fast and Furious in theaters, so I know that. So to hear Sam that he saw Fast 5 in theaters, I'm like, yo, how do you miss other 4? But makes sense, because Fast 5 is where it really turned the story into a different direction. So I guess I understand where that's coming from. And like where I grew up with, like, I grew up with Ludacris. I grew up with these, like, I felt like I grew up with this cast, watching them grow, like Paul Walker. Like when Paul Walker passed away, I think back in 2016, 2017 was it, if I remember correctly, like I cried because I grew up with this cast. I grew up watching these movies, you know, year by year going on and everything, and seeing like when Vin Diesel all the time, like, you know, we are family, ride or die. Like I not just me, a lot of people have taken that type of slogan to themselves in the relationship and say it as jokes too. So to know that what Vin Diesel and Paul Walker built from this franchise and how much they have changed is a beautiful thing, because it's like this type of franchise has more of a saga than Star Wars, and that's what me and Sam made a joke about yesterday as a fun thing. Like this saga is probably more loved by Star Wars than most people. Like that's a sad thing to talk about, but it's the reality where Vin Diesel and Paul Walker has built such a great cast over the years, where other rapper artists, Spanish and from other places have come and joined this movie just as little cameos, and I find that amazing. Just to see Don Omar, just to see Cardi B and other people in these films, and I find it really beautiful to see. So what they have built is such a beautiful thing, and Vin Diesel and the cast knows what they have. Yes, it's not the MCU comic book film, but something that's such a guilty pleasure and fun film is such a good time to have and just call it entertainment. Yes, for some people it's not Oscar worthy for what it is, and at the end of the day, I don't give a flying fuck. I have a good time with it, and I think at the end of the day, that's the most important aspect, where you're enjoying a film and you're having a good time with it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the Fast and Furious movies are not going to win any Oscars, but I mean, it doesn't need to, right? Like, it's already vastly successful at the box office. Like, it's worth billions, right? But I started with this franchise. I saw the first film in theaters. I bought it on VHS, and I watched that VHS over and over and over.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't. Lost it. I think I lost it in a hurricane, potentially. I'm not sure. But yeah, I bought it, had it on VHS, had it on DVD, had it on Blu-ray. I have it on Steelbook, normal Blu-ray. I have the entire Fast Saga. I have the entire box set in 4K. And I'll have the new box set whenever Fast 10 Part 1 and Part 2 come out. So I'm a huge fanboy of this franchise. I'm a huge Vin Diesel fanboy. Like, any movie Vin Diesel is in, I'll watch it. Even The Last Witch Hunter, not a great movie, but Vin's in it. I fucking love it, so it doesn't matter.
I still haven't seen it. It.
It's not the best, you know, but I don't care. I love Vin Diesel. I'll watch anything he's in, like I said. But yeah, man, I've loved this franchise ever since the beginning. And Fast 5 was where the franchise took a serious turn. I always loved the franchise, but when it added in the heist elements, which is like one of my favorite genres in
Mm-hmm.
film. So you combine the Fast and
Agree.
Furious and then you put it in with a heist movie, and now this is just the greatest thing ever. You introduce Dwayne The Rock Johnson into the franchise. I get The Rock versus Vin Diesel in a fight. One of the
Mm-hmm.
best things ever. Just pure high octane fun. Absolutely love the Fast and Furious franchise. Like I said, Fast 5 is my favorite. Fast and Furious 6 is my second favorite. Like, Justin Lin really has his finger on the pulse of what this franchise is supposed to be. Him and Chris Morgan, they've done an incredible job, like, as a team, writing and directing these films. Now, Chris Morgan did not write F9, which you can tell. Even though I still enjoyed it, I wish he wrote it. But as long as Justin Lin and Chris Morgan come back for F10 Part 1 and 2, I'll be happy.
I just want to add to that. Justin Lin, seeing his name in Fast 9, I didn't know that he directed this one. I was happy seeing this. And then rewatching Fast 1, 2, and 4, and 5, seeing that Justin Lin did number 4, which I totally forgot about that, and seeing that how much
Yeah, he
has
started at 3.
improved as a director. Oh, he started 3. I did not rewatch Tokyo Drift because, I did not see that. So, but knowing that how much he has improved since 4, well, for me, sorry, 3, but since 4, since I watched 4 to 9, how much he has improved in his directing and cinematography. That's beautiful because that's a hard thing to do and continue improving your camera shots and cars and everything. And rewatching these films and everything, and knowing all these years and now working production also made me wonder how much money it costs for all these explosion and car stunts and everything. Like, that's props. And the amount of editing, like, I also have to give credit to that, because the amount of editing and try to sync everything to go when they do the thrust, the shifting change, and the wheel, like those camera angles, people don't take, people don't give those props a credit to, but where's credit due, I have to give the props, because that's not an easy task just to sync everything well done while the car is moving and everything, because that's beautiful. I gotta give props to that, right, James?
Big facts, bro. Big facts. Like you said it beautifully. Like, you people take for granted how many cuts, how many camera angles have to go into making these
OD.
scenes with these cars look as amazing as they do, because you have to switch between the actors in the cars with what the stunt doubles are doing inside the car, them shifting the pedals when they hit the nos, like all of these different things all come together. So the production value of the Fast and Furious franchise is insane, which is why the more the films go on, the bigger the budgets become. Like, I'm pretty sure the budget for this film for F9 was like upwards of 200 million. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I
it's a
think it was
lot of
almost
money to do these
300.
stunts. Something like that. Yeah.
I think it was almost 300.
Something like that, yeah. Especially when
It
you're
was
including
it was
marketing and
insane.
stuff, like it's a crazy budget. But it
Yeah.
all looks
And plus,
good to me.
And plus, they also had to wait another year to push more marketing money into it, because remember, because of COVID and everything, so they had to push more money into it because they have to wait another year, which I respect. Once I watched the film, I understood why they had to wait another year, because of how much special effects, how much explosion, how much different cities they had to travel to and everything just for this. And I'm like, it makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes
what,
total
why
sense
not
for
take
this.
the time and just do some extra cleanup, And you can tell, right? Cuz there's a lot of ADR in this film. Right? It's
A
not
lot.
necessarily a negative, if you will, but there's a lot of ADR. When you look at the trailers and then you look at the movie, like, pretty much none of the dialogue from the trailers are in the movie. You know what I mean? So it's all like ADR new lines, but it works for me, right? Like, I'm not looking for anything big from the Fast and Furious franchise. Real quick, who would you say are your top, like, 3 favorite characters in the franchise?
I was just about to ask a similar question, but I'm gonna answer that. To me, my top 3 favorite out of all 9 or 10, including Hobbs and Shaw,
Yeah,
like all 10 of them, right?
yeah,
Vin Diesel. Damn, 3 is hard. Can we do 5?
yeah,
3 is
sure.
hard. All right, 5. So Vin Diesel on, which is Dom, Paul Walker, Brian, The Rock, Roman Pierce, because I love his lines, and also because he be talking like me, like I'm hungry, so I'm like, I get it, my man. I be starving too. And that's number 4. I have to give it to Han as well. I like Han's character. So those five, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Sam.
mean, I feel like those are just like there's basically my five as well. It's Vin and Paul's chemistry together in in those movies. Their chemistry works really well. The character is really well rounded and have many layers of character builds and everything into it. So of course those have like they have to be in there. Tyrese is the funny man. Of course, it's like you don't really need much for him. Just give him jokes, say the lines, and he makes his millions. Like that's you go in, make your jokes, be the funny man, be the clown, whatever needs to be, and you accept your millions of dollars right there. And then The
Yeah.
Rock did a really good job. He's not one-dimensional side character in a way. He actually is his own character. So I give him his props from there. Um, yeah, and Han, even though like you don't see him talk a lot, but his actions and his words and his mood and vibe, especially towards like Tokyo Drift, and he's just eating candy, just chilling. Like, you can borrow my
His
car.
facial expression is amazing.
Like
Yeah.
I
he
gotta
knows
give
how to
props to his
play the
facial expression.
chill
Does a
man.
good job.
Like when the time to come serious, he'll be serious. But other than that, he'll just be a very chill dude, eating candy or eating some other food. Be like
chips or some shit. Yeah.
be like, I'm interested. I see this rookie has some potential. I give him my car. Like, well, looks like you trashed it. Looks like you owe me one. I guess I have to train you to at least know how to drift and everything. So, all right, you with me.
So
Yeah.
a top five, I realize how difficult it is now. But top
Right?
five,
Thank you. I was like top three. I'm like,
it's
damn,
like
James,
shit.
that's hard.
I need like top seven now. But I'll do five because you guys only got to do five. Dom, Brian, Letty, Han, Giselle.
Giselle was my either option for Han because rewatching Fast Forward Fast Five, I'm like, fuck, I like Giselle. Like she's a
Yeah, Giselle's
good
fucking
addition.
awesome.
And the way she understood that girl was flirting with Dom, but
Mhm.
Dom told her like, what type of girl you into, and Dom described the girl he's into, and it did not describe her. And Giselle respected that, like, oh, that's not me. Like, yeah, it's not you. And then she respected him as a man, but also still found him adorable. Still found him attractive. And I love that type of chemistry. Like, I love how in this movie there's no love interest for Dom and they didn't force it. I love that part of the film too.
Yeah, like I said, man, I fucking love these movies. There's so many amazing characters. Like, unfortunately for me, I'm not a big fan of Roman becoming the gag of the franchise. It's not really it for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's completely
Understandable.
different. It's way different for me than how he started off in Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, he made a bunch of jokes with Brian, and that was just like their dynamic. But to a point, it's just like, yeah, he's just joke, especially F9, right? Like, he's just a walking joke throughout the entire film. Same thing with The Fate of the Furious. He's just the walking joke, right? And it's just too much for me. But let's get into it.
And dude, Chris is this like serious man kind of thing. Be like, you
Kind
a
of.
clown. You have to point out you're a clown. I gotta show you up. I gotta make more jokes out of you like this. Like, here, no tray, like super magnet. Oop, there goes your food full of there's a tray full of food. Oop.
So my question was for you guys: if you had to choose one or two characters from the Fast and Furious franchise, these 10 films, who describes you? The two characters that describes you, or one? Do you see yourself as Dom, Brian O'Connor? Do you see yourself as The Rock? Like what one character describes you? Like, do you see yourself as a leader as Dom or Brian? James, go first.
I guess it would depend on the situation. I would say I'm more of a Brian type, but depending on the situation, like, I would fit the Dom role.
Okay, Sam.
I think it's kind of obvious that I would be Tej, Ludacris's character.
I see that. Okay. Do you have a second one, or is just Taz?
I don't know, Han. Just be the chill dude, or just be in the sidewalk, just watching. And if I need to shoot you, I'll shoot
So
you.
Taz or Han.
Be the whole sharpshooter.
All right. For me, I'm the same boat as with James. I see myself more as the Brian, but in certain situations, I see myself as the possible Dom when needed.
Yeah, it all depends. I mean, I guess that would just be Brian all around. Because I mean, if Dom's not there, then Brian's next up. But yeah, I guess
Then
I would.
Brian's the
Yeah,
leader.
definitely, I
Yeah.
would be more of the Brian type. Because I don't care about being the leader, but I will like perform at leader level. I don't care about like coming up with the plan. Tell tell me what the plan is. It will be executed to the utmost level, right? Like just let me work.
Same.
I can fit any category. If you need me on guns, if you need me to drive the car, I will do everything at the highest level possible, right? In Fast Five, when Dom says we need two precision drivers, I would be one of those people. But I don't need to be the one to call the shots constantly. Like I don't need to be that person.
Same. That's me right there. Yep.
Yeah,
Agreed.
but let's get into it. Let's get into our spoilers review of F9: The Fast Saga, which I have to be honest, I think it's kind of a stupid fucking name. F9: The Fast Saga. That doesn't make any sense. Like maybe like that should be like what F10
Fast
Part
10.
2, you know what I mean? Like when
Yes.
it's done, it's like, you know, Fast and Furious 10 Part 2, The Fast Saga. It's done, right? Why do that at F9? Doesn't make sense. But Vash, I want to start with you, and I want to know like just like your general thoughts on like F9.
So my general thoughts, like I told Sammy, is that, like, I don't know why, but I was feeling underwhelmed with this film. I didn't see that much trailers. I just saw a couple ones, whatever the brand posted in there. I was like, couple of seconds, see whatever it is. But it's not that I was worried the film would be bad or worried that the film would not, exceed expectations of how the past 5, 6, and 7, 8 has been. But rewatching Fast One, Fast Two, and Fast Four, it made me realize like how much Paul Walker I'm missing these films and how much his presence is
Mhm.
an important figure. And like when I was going to the film with Sam, I was excited to see Fast Nine because I have a big passion for this movie, but I was far exceeded expectations. I was really entertained. And as much as what James said earlier, that Roman Pierce, aka Albert Tyree's character, became the walking joke, I was more entertained in this film than Fate of the Furious with his jokes. In Fate, it felt like he was more forced, or it felt like he was going through his problems and wasn't, doing good line delivery. For Fast Nine, it felt like he was hitting it, and I felt like it was more casual jokes, and it felt good. So I was entertained in that aspect. With every little Easter of what they kind of retcon a bit of Vin Diesel's family and everything, even though they kept it almost the same, they just changed the line from Fast and Furious 4 that when Mia say, I gotta say bye to my only brother, I'm like, well, but in Fast 9, he's not your only brother. But then in the first Furious one, in the first one, they speak about when he first went to jail. He spent some time, it's because he almost killed somebody. So it made, so I love how they kept a lot of things, just changed a little couple things. So that was dope. And entertained with the most thing that I was also maybe why I was underwhelmed is John Cena. My man knocked it out of the park. I was truly entertained with what he delivered as a character of Jacob. And I will I will give my con about the flashback brothers because I'm like, yeah, I don't really look much alike, but sure, I'll let that slide. But Jacob, John Cena present character truly did knock out the park for me. I was entertained. The I felt like he was the better spy. It made sense because he won a couple of rounds against his brother, so it made sense why he was so good at it because this is his world. So I love how that was there and established, and I love how the matches between the old chick. Damn, I forgot the old chick name. That was a villain that was trapped in the box.
Queenie.
Cypher.
Queenie.
Queenie.
No, that's
Oh,
Cypher,
Cypher.
thank you.
thought you meant
Cypher.
Jason Statham's character's
Oh
mom.
no, mom. Yeah, sorry. Cypher. That was a great addition to bring her back, and she's gonna probably be back in Fast 10. So
Mm.
this will be a great addition to wrap up everything with Hobbs and Shaw with the big organization, like like we mentioned earlier. So I'm very excited to what brings within the end of the saga. But Fast 9, truly entertained, had a great time with the cast and everything, and even though I was questioning a couple of lines when Mia said that I'm better here since Brian's with the parents, I'm like, technically Brian should be here because he has the better skill. He has the cop. He should be here. But with the current circumstances, he's the one that should be home. So it makes total sense. But overall, I had a great time with the film.
Sam, what are your general thoughts on F9?
So I didn't really have a huge expectation going into Fast 9 in general. I didn't see it in the trailers. I know about the franchise, and like, of course, I enjoy it. But then recapping from the last previous movie, well, not Hobbs and Shaw, but with the Fate of the Furious, I guess it's when you figure out the whole entire formula. You see the rival, you see them somehow have their own fancy car. Somehow they beat you in a race, but then you have a flashback of how you beat them in a race in the past. You start to learn about their secrets, and then some fate of the world situation happen. And of course, like the villain, you have that last race, the whole crazy shit of action that starts happening, like the bridge. Like literally, like they would have driving through that bridge, they would have definitely fallen. Not enough speed would able to at least give them go 90 degrees upwards and then be able to fall like that. And then the whole Vin Diesel and having that hook into the wheel, and then you swing all the way to the cross. No, that's bullshit. That is just some ridiculous shit. Because that shit, that they've been doing that kind of ridiculous shit since like numbers 6 or 7, I believe. Because with the whole tunnel and everybody was trying to, like 5. But at least 5 was more believable, kind of thing. Like you can see that happening, understandable. But this was just going crazy. You're literally going to the sideway of the bridge. Oh, we're gonna put some rocket fuel into space. We're going into space. We're going to the moon. I was like, what the ridiculousness is this?
I mean, how else are you supposed to take out the satellite?
I don't know, with a missile.
No,
a missile.
Nobody is gonna believe us when we go back home.
Yo, Hobbs, you busy? We need a missile to shoot this rocket for, or else the whole entire security gets hacked. Somehow FBI, CIA has not heard about this or anything that's going on. All right. I see how it is. Everybody's a secret agent.
That is my con.
Everybody's a secret agent.
That is one of my cons about that.
They just don't have that kind of power now. Where, like, we can't shoot a missile. We can't have an EMP. We can't just, have something to neutralize this upcoming rocket missile kind of thing. But nope, just a fancy, spoiled, rich white boy just literally bought this entire space station, the satellite and everything launching.
They don't work for the government, right? And then, like, even when they worked for Mr. Nobody, he doesn't, like, he works outside of the government and he's missing. So who would be providing these missiles?
So I have a question about that. Do we have any confirmation if Mr. Nobody is dead or he's just missing?
He's just missing.
We have
no idea. He's just missing.
We know he's coming back in that last movie. We know he's not going anywhere. We're gonna see him again. And then I feel like they don't want to recruit any more villains, and that's why they had to keep the villain Cypher's character. But we know she's just a pawn herself, or at least the bishop or the knight. We just constantly seeing her in the villain, but
I don't think she's the pawn, bro. I think she's
not a pawn, but
I think she's the queen, bro. I think she's the head of all of what's happening, and she's going to be sending people after the team and also trying to accomplish her own goals. Like, but I think she's.
Do you think she's working for with the organization of Hobbs and Shaw, where that's going to connect their story as well?
Yeah, I definitely see that.
Yeah.
Because like they hide it really well. They had the whole like fake voice conversions and all that stuff like that, had their plan, and she's somehow also a part of that plan too.
I mean, it could have been Cypher. Let's be honest. It could have just been her. She could be the leader of this organization, because it's a voice changer. You can do whatever you want. So it could be her, because she does have history with both Hobbs and Shaw, which is what the voice said at the end of that movie. So it could be her. I think if they're smart to link the two franchises together, I think it would kind of make sense if it is Cypher. It would give Charlize Theron more to do in the franchise as a whole. And when the Fast and Furious franchise is done, she can still be a part of the Hobbs and Shaw movies. Whenever they do the all-female spin-off of Fast and Furious, she could potentially show up in that too. Because, I mean, that's what they're setting up with Cardi B, right? They're setting up like an entire female crew for an eventual spin-off movie. That's whole thing.
I mean,
I did not know that.
Wasn't there like a all-female crew in the one of the Fast and Furious movies? Like they were like their
only F9.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, like the only female crew was technically Mia, Letty, and also Giselle, and I think one of the other chicks, but that wasn't like the only female crew. Like,
and Ramsey.
Like they did their own side mission, Yeah, Ramsey. Like they did their own side mission, but not that Giselle's gone. Mia, has to sometimes escape just to come and do missions. But it makes sense what James is saying. Like they're trying to find their own type of female cast, so it makes sense about that.
They might
Mercenary.
also add Vanessa Kirby into the fan as well.
Yes, I would love to see her come back. I'm sure she'll be back in Hobbs and Shaw too, and I hope she shows up in a Fast and Furious movie. I think that would be dope. I think it would make sense if she shows up in Fast 10 Part 1, because we don't know what's going to happen based on that mid-credit scene that we'll talk about a little bit later on. But Mercenary brings up a good question. What happened to Little Nobody from Fate of the Furious? So Scott Eastwood's character, what happened to him, right? Where is he? And Brian's like, maybe he turned, could have possibly be working for Cypher now. That's how he was able to catch, that's how Cypher was able to catch Mr. Nobody, or Jacob was able to catch Mr. Nobody, I should say. I don't know. It could go a lot of different ways.
I mean,
James, what are your overall thoughts of the film?
Yeah, I love F9. There's some small things that annoyed me, like, well, not annoyed me. It took me a while to just like forget that physics completely exist in this film, honestly. But once I did, I was fine, right?
Because super plot armor for all the characters in the cast. Like everybody gets plot armor. We're getting shot. No bullet wounds. No scratches.
Yeah, everyone's fine.
Not even a scratch. We're just sweating. We're just very tired. We don't have bullet wounds. We don't have blood on everything on it.
I really like this movie a lot. I would say the only thing that I didn't like was the music. The soundtrack for the film. It didn't really feel like a Fast and Furious soundtrack. It felt more like a soundtrack for a spy movie, which is what this franchise has become. Let's be honest, it's become Mission Impossible with cars. But I still wanted the music to feel like Fast and Furious. But besides that, I had a lot of fun. Right, the mine sequence, the landmine sequence was a lot of fun. Them going over the bridge.
Well, that's amazing.
Like, all of that stuff was so much fun. They don't care about physics. I don't give a shit about any of that. We got some really cool action set pieces. We got some more family moments, which I really love about this franchise. I thought the pacing was really good. I loved all of the flashbacks. I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun with this movie. But so, let's just get into spoilers. Let's get into it. Because I talked about the landmine scene. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous, right? All you have to do to get past this landmine field is just go 80 miles an hour. It's the most ridiculous fucking thing ever. So what did you guys think about that? It was a lot of fun to watch, but absolutely ridiculous.
Well, let me just say, folks, that's not very true. You will still get blown up and destroyed even if you go 80 miles per hour. Do not try it at home.
Do not. Don't go to any landmines that drive 80 miles an hour. You will die. Do not use this all fixes that they show you, because do not.
We gotta literally go to wrestling. Like, do not try, kids. Do not try this at home, no matter what. And next thing you know, you have 12, 13-year-olds who got their driver's license and just driving straight through the minefield.
Nah, but when Roman Pierce looks at his miles per hour, says that I can't go 80 miles an hour. My shit only goes to 70. Like. And then when Tesla like, you better be running that shit over 70. I'm like, yo. And then when his shit flip over, it gets stuck on the rock and slowly sliding down. And when he has to escape that, and somehow when that thing flipped, me and Sam both thought he was dead. Taz even thought he was dead too. I'm like, oh, she died.
And Ramsey thought he was dead. It landed on top of him, and then he just walks out the back. I'm like, well, that's not how physics works. That's not how anything works, but
nope.
Okay.
Sure, right? I'm like, I guess. Cool.
And
somehow he just literally...
the joke commentary, like, oh, I see you're the one. Oh, you picked a bigger car. Are you compensating for something? And then like,
you're not compensating for anything. But yeah, it's
like the bridge. I was gonna say the bridge that, like, seeing it from the trailer, I'm happy they didn't really spoil us a lot from the movie and trailers, even though they waited a whole year for this film. And seeing that this scenes of the bridge was the first part of the film, I'm happy that literally was the first 15 minutes. I'm like, cool, thank you. That means we were not spoiled too much. And when I told him, like, yo, so we're about to see the whole context of this bridge thing, he's like, yeah. I'm like, and then when me and Sam saw it, I'm like, yo, still don't get how this car literally got the hook. And when Letty even asked him, when Letty asks, no, Dom, Dom, no. I'm like, bitch, stop saying no. You know who's gonna do it. Somebody they're gonna survive. And when I told Sam, I'm like, yo, Sam, every single glass around the car broke, but not even
outside,
arm,
not even from the inside,
or
no
bleeding.
Scratches.
Nothing broke. And they was like, bro, I don't know. I'm like, bro, I'm just competent. I'm just asking, and I'm like, an arm or even a leg will be like, my leg can't move.
Oh, I'm knocked
like in
out.
Too Fast, Too
My
Furious,
head is bleeding.
when Paul Walker and when Roman Pierce drove that car to the boat, Roman Pierce's arm broke. He's like, yo, I can't move my arm. And then they got the car like that. But somehow, Dom could do a whole freaking like SWAT swing.
Dom.
Like a whole type of X-wing turn. And literally somehow land. Nothing happened.
It's Dom, bro.
Still a lot of fun, though. Lost physics.
Another part of that bridge scene is when Tej and Ramsey and Roman are in the Jeep, and they're going across the bridge. The bridge falls, mind you, and they're still able to drive on it. I'm like, dude,
going
what?
Complete 180. It's like, what the fuck?
I'm like, you know what? I'm glad this was at the beginning of the movie because this sets the stage to tell you know what?
It's so funny too. You did that. You did that.
Literally do not exist.
Literally from that physics, he's supposed to be like literally from you're high up in altitude and jump into that. Literally, like how you gonna be like? You literally just go like down like that if anything. But nope, it's like literally make it seem like it's a whole. Oh, I just made a whole hill jump and that sort of thing. Look, because like they could have at least fixed that in editing. I don't know.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
But I think that's why I enjoyed the next scene when they were back in the in the base when Roman Pierce, Tyrese character, told to Tash like, "Yo, I think we're invincible. I think we're just lucky because, I just took out 14 soldiers. Look at this, bullet wounds, and I don't have got a scar on me nowhere to prove that I just almost got shot, like nothing." And I told him, like, I love this scene, not just because it's funny and everything, but more it's because the writers, the directors making fun of the script and fun of the franchise, but they themselves know that after Fast 5 or Fast 4 partially, that these members originally started as race car hack stealers for Panasonic stuff, TVs, and VCR back years ago.
Players, man.
And now
they steal gas, some tanks and stuff.
Right. Like,
for some reason, Mr. Nobody asked these random people that did them a favor years ago to get him and other equipment where he could have asked anybody else from Interpol, SCI, CIA, FBI.
Yeah, somehow, people who are actually like military trained.
But somehow they trust these 6-8 ragtag team. And I enjoyed this scene just for that reason, that Tyrese and the writers and the director broke forth for telling the audience, like, hey, somehow these guys are surviving and we're making fun of it because we know that these people in any type of regular film will be dead. And I love that scene. How do you guys feel about that? Like, even though it was 4-4 breaking, how did you guys feel about that?
I loved it. I love that they're completely self-aware of how fucking ridiculous the franchise has become. Just lean into it, have a bunch of fun, and just have fun, right? Charlize Theron even says later on in the film, if this was a movie, this would be the point where the villain overcompensates after losing. I'm like, okay, we have gone like full on, like, it's crazy, man. But I love it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, it's completely meta. I don't give a shit. At this point, I'm just ready for Fast 10 Part 1 and Part 2 to be about Dom and the team having to stop an asteroid from crashing into the Earth. I need the scene where Dom and the team have to slingshot around the moon in order to land on top of an asteroid and send off and like blow it up or some shit.
So, quick side question. I know he's probably too old for this now, but if you just put a mask, it won't really matter. He's built for it. Vin Diesel as Racer X for the Speed Racer franchise. It works for it already. He has a black car. Just work for it. My man just needs to put an X. He already has done Riddick. He has done that. No eyes and everything. Just put a mask over the face and everything. Tell me now. Come on. He could just,
be really,
just have a
really
younger...
cool.
that's easy already. He knows how to do the shots for the speed racing and everything. The only difference that in the speed racing world, your car will have, do tricks and buttons for that shit. So come on, it works for us. So I don't know about that, chat. So let me know what you think. I think it sounds amazing. Vin Diesel as Racer X, as the older brother of Speed Racer, is beautiful. Right there is the next franchise after Fast Saga. Right there.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, like, it wasn't just the whole meta fourth wall breaking, but it also like established the other movies into, like, they actually talk about other movies like Star Wars. Like, oh no, you're actually like Yoda. No, you have a hand up your ass because you're a puppet and stuff like that. And then they also bring up other movies as well. I forgot which. They brought up other Universal.
They brought up Harry Potter.
Movies. Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was shocked that, like, when the white rich guy said, "Bring anybody," bring the Marion Falcon, bring the X-wing, and I'm like,
get Chewbacca.
Did they get approval from Disney? Yeah, I'm like Chewbacca. I mean, they must have paid some type of money just to get.
I mean, you can name drop. There's no visual. You can name drop. You have to pay for visuals. Mm-hmm. But you can name drop.
And then it just so happens like the last trailer before the movie started was the Jurassic World movie trailer.
Minions too. Brian brought up Minions, yeah.
Oh yeah, Minions.
Oh yeah, they did bring the Minions when they were up when they were up in the asteroid. I mean, up in space.
They look like Minions.
I'm like, I guess they kind of look like Minions. I guess
I would say more like they look like.
So that's pretty cool as well.
Among Us characters in that sort of way, the suit and the mask.
So Vashi brought up the flashbacks. Cool, I want to know what you guys thought about the flashbacks throughout the film. Introducing Jacob, showing the different side of what happened the day their dad died and how Jacob plays into it. I liked it. I thought it worked really well because it shows that Jacob was just trying to do what his dad asked him to do. Mm-hmm. He always was looking up to his brother, always looking up to his dad, and his dad confided in him. And his dad told him, yo, like, we're running low on money. And in order for us to make money, I need to throw this race and I need your help. And then for him to see the car on fire, all of that guilt that he felt, and then him racing, he's trying to overcompensate for all of those feelings. And then his brother comes out of prison and then blames him for the death of their father. So I feel like they set up Jacob really, really well. And I didn't have an issue with how different they looked because people have growth spurts, right? Like some people just have like growth spurts really, really later on. And then the reason why he's so big is because like
training.
Cypher said, exactly, right? You always push yourself to be smarter than Dom, faster than Dom, stronger than Dom. So it makes sense, right? So Sam, I want to start with you. How did you feel about the flashback scenes and how Jacob plays into the family?
I mean, okay, so Vash was watching like the first movie and he was in the second movie and he was establishing some lines. There was a few lines that tells you Dom did have a brother that he casted out. Like, and then there was also a relationship between Vin and Mia too. Like, you already left the brother, all right? You already just left the brother. And like, literally bring in the whole. Those a couple lines that they brought in from the first and second movies. Just literally all the way back to Fast 9. Literally those one or two lines to establish the grounding, a foundation. Yep, he has a brother. He has this. He has this. Now we can just recycle this, use this all the way to Fast 9. Yep, he has a younger brother.
What was that line? Because I don't recall them ever talking about a brother.
They also brought up the reason why Dom went into prison as well.
They did in Fast 1.
But they mentioned a brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Interesting.
So this is what I was gonna bring up. Like, this makes me believe like the Vin Diesel and the producers always had this idea, but if they were wondering to establish this, because there's no way.
I don't think so, because even in Fast 5, when him and Brian are talking, Brian is asking him like, what was it like? What was his father like? They have an entire conversation where he only talks about his dad helping Mia with her homework. He never mentions anything to Brian about Mia and my brother. You know, even if they didn't have a name, he never says anything about like my father was there helping my siblings with their homework. He only says Mia. And like, I've seen that movie, the first Fast and Furious movie, like 1,000 times. I don't know. I would have to go back and look.
I sent you the clips that Vash sent me last. So like it was like a small mention from there of they kind of did retcon this in a sort of way to
they said about the brother. I'm sorry. They said about the father. They said about the accident. They said that about Mia and everything. The only thing that the retcon is that instead of having Mia only, they just retcon about Jacob. That's what they did, like adding the brother and everything. So that was pretty interesting. But what I meant about if the brothers look alike, like Jacob and Dom from past to present, not much was a bother by it. No, not really. But it's more is that I knew when they show us Dom perspective of his perspective in the first half of the movie flashback, I knew there was something missing because I knew, wait a minute, they're showing only us one perspective. There's always two sides of a story. It's like something of what Two-Face has always said. There's always two sides of a story. So when we saw only Dom's story, I'm like, there has to be more to Jacob. And when I heard the part that, hey, Jacob, do it now, and I'm like, hold up, but they're not showing us what Jacob is doing. I'm like, that is a storytelling. But I know there's more now because of me working in production, seeing things behind the scenes. So I see things a lot more differently when I watch films. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I saw that happening. Was I happy with the turn that Vin Diesel Dom gave the second chance to Jacob and have a better understanding of why Jacob did what he did? Yes, I understand it. That's a brother love, that's family, and that's what Vin Diesel has always preached. Dom in the character that family, ride or die, don't leave family behind. And you live your life a quarter by a mile, and I love that because it continues the story and the message of what Vin Diesel's character Dom has teach throughout the whole Fast Saga. I love that very much, and I love how he gave the same type of thing that Paul Walker did to Vin Diesel in the first film, that he gave him that second chance. And in this film, Vin Diesel gave the second chance because he gave him that reference like, hey, somebody else gave me a second chance.
Card.
Let me do that to the 10-second card. Let me do this for you. And I love that. It's beautiful because this was playing homage and storytelling. Again, I have to give props to the writing for this film because they took lines from the first film and literally made a movie of it. So I gotta give props because I was rewatching the film last night and I was sending small clips to Sam like, yo, they made a whole film out of lines of the first film they made almost 20 years ago. So that's beautiful. And that's props to writing. That's props to the producers and for them to keep things in a storyline. Yes, they probably retcon stuff, but hey, the MCU has done some stuff to that they had to retcon. So if a big franchise like the MCU has done it with 22 films and some shows now, Fast Saga could do it. And to me, they've done it very beautifully.
Yeah, man. Like I completely agree. Like I have no problems with how it ended. And you can tell, like you're saying, like the writers actually care about this franchise. And no matter how crazy the franchise gets with the action and the spy shit, at the core, it's about family. It's about these core people doing whatever it takes to stay together and to take care of each other, right? Like that's what the Fast and Furious franchise is about. Like, again, even though it gets really, really crazy, at its core, it's always about family. The Fast and Furious franchise is like probably my second favorite like movie franchise ever. Like it's just so good. It's so like I just have so much fun with that shit. But Sam, what are your thoughts on like the flashbacks with Jacob and how he fits into the family?
I thought it was okay. It wasn't like too bad. You kind of like Lash said, we actually a few lines from the first movie to make this entire movie in itself of number 9. I feel like the younger Jacob looks at least a lot more similar than the younger Dom's character in Tom now in that sort of way. I mean, especially now the whole body build. The sort of thing. The only thing is, I don't have a problem where the younger brother is just somehow much more bigger, taller, whatever, because that's usually happens. For some reason, that's genetics right now in real life, where your younger brother is much bigger or taller, buffer, whatever, and stuff like that. So
that's me.
I'm not even too like. Not even gonna front from that. That's actually real shit. When it came to the past story, I think it fit perfectly well. But I feel like the same formula from the previous Fast and Furious movies, always Dom have a flashback, he either discovers something and he was either wrong and he was either right and it wasn't what he expected to see, and it's like literally. So how would this character feel if it was this happening to them? And it's Vin Diesel like hitting the parts of this emotional feeling, this surprise action, this entire climax kind of thing, and it works for him. For the entire past story, it still feels work. I feel like the younger cast could have been better. I feel like, but I don't see them. They're not really there to stay. They're just there to be the past story of Dom and Jacob, and literally just that's
yeah. We'll never see them again, probably.
But it could have been better. I feel.
I do give props for the editing in the scene when somehow Dom, I don't know how, with the beautiful strength he got, I don't know, when he just took out the whole 2 chains that went, literally broke the whole bridge. And
hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there. Hold on.
But wait, but this relates. I'm not gonna go full in details, but this relates to what Sam brought up. Like in the scene where he went inside the water, but got the flashback of realizing what Jacob said, that his father was, in debt with the family, and that he had this choice to do. And to me, like, Pops, you could have just not go so fast. You could have just not do a whole flip. Like, I feel like you could have survived, my guy. Like, you didn't really have to die. Like,
I mean,
I
how
feel like
he
extra
got
for the
clipped,
film,
though.
Yeah, he got clipped from the side. And
no. I get it. He got clipped like that. That happened. But what I'm saying is that if you want to throw for the race and want to look believable, like, you could have at least, like, I don't know, like, had a heart attack or something.
Well, I mean,
but like, just have your son.
So this is what actually happened in the scene, right? So Jacob put a hole in the fuel line, which will cause the car to stall out, right? So that was the plan, for the car to stall out, and then he would just have to pull over, and then he wouldn't be able to finish the race. But he gets clipped going really, really fast.
Because the clip.
And then the clip sent him into the
air,
the wall or whatever, and into the fence, and that's what and I forget who said it. It was when Dom was in prison, they told him that if you get a spark, that's what can cause it to blow up. So it's because of the hole in the fuel line, and because he got clipped, that created a spark, and that's what blew up the car. So the point was just to stop the car from running so that he can get out of the race.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
but that is a huge guilt. That is a huge guilt that Jacob did and everything, and
that's why he feels so bad, because
in the water.
He was just supposed to stop the car from working, and then his dad ended up dying, like blowing up.
And then it's not really his fault. It's just like he's just doing what he was told in that situation. And what's also funny,
that's why I find that beautiful transition with the water, because for him to realize that, and then somehow the transition and the flashback of his memories, and then seeing that with his father, and then somehow having a different perspective of what Jacob did and everything, I find that really beautiful to see that was a nice transition, and the editing were very well done with Dom almost dying and passing out there in the water. So that was very beautiful.
I also kind of find it funny because you don't see too much backstory from Jacob. All we know is that just like in the Marvel universe, Michael Rocco is also the daddy of another character here.
Yes, he is.
he became the daddy of Jacob temporarily, whatnot, and then for some reason Jacob ends up in the spy world within the Mission Impossible side for some reason. And he's actually,
I mean, how else do you get better than Dom?
Nobody. That was dope though, to find out that he was working for Mr. Nobody before Dom, and when he told him, like, how do you think Mr. Nobody found about you? It's because of me. I went rogue. I'm like, oh shit.
That made sense.
Pretty interesting.
Though. But you have to believe like Mr. Nobody had to recruit Jacob from like wherever he was in that moment and stuff. Because remember what Michael Rooker's character said, like, nobody's life gets out of this track, because this is how our life is, and that sort of stuff. It's either you go in a life of crime, which was with Dom, or somehow like someone pull you out from this situation and put you in another world and that kind of thing. And that was Mr. Nobody for Jacob.
Yeah, I feel like Jacob took the route of going into the military, then
Mhm.
becoming a spy. He ended up with Mr. Nobody, doing like extra like super spy shit. So it's really really cool. I love how
Yeah.
Mr. Nobody is like like woven into this entire franchise. Like we know that Giselle was working for him when Giselle was in Mexico working for Braga. We know that when Han retired to
Japan.
Tokyo that he was working with Mr. Nobody. So I love all of this stuff and how it all connected. So on that topic, Sam, I want to start with you. How do you feel about how they brought back Han into the franchise? Do you feel like it all made sense to you? Because I thought it did, but I want to hear your thoughts.
So
Like,
okay. So the car flip, of course, it's caused because of Shaw, and literally how they did it was this panel. Like, yep, first panel you see Han getting trapped in the car, and then next slide he's just somehow gone. You see Mr. Nobody in the window, and then Han is like, yeah, like
I'll explain because I have seen the movie twice. I'll explain.
okay.
Yeah, and then it's just like, you sure know how to make people disappear. Like, that's nothing. I could do other things as well. It's like, shit, what do you know, and what can you actually really do?
When you have a code name called Mr. Nobody, when I saw that scene, like, this is the version in the Fast Saga franchise. He's the Nick Fury. He's the Nick Fury in this universe. Literally.
That's exactly what it is. They've turned the Fast and Furious franchise into Mission Impossible and the MCU.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
This is literally Nobody is the Nick Fury. I'm like, why is it that? I could do a lot more things in that, but the trick is how to keep you there. I'm like, why did you know this so well? Like,
so
real
quick, right? Real quick. So when you watch the film again, you can see that it's actually a hologram. So
yeah, they made it seem like
what
it's a hologram.
I put together was that, and I watched Tokyo Drift before I saw it the second time, right? So if you look in Tokyo Drift, when Han runs out of the garage, you don't see him necessarily get into his car. So based on what we know from F9, Han went somewhere else, and that car that we see was a hologram, and the car was being driven by remote control. So when the car flips, it's just a hologram. He was never in the car, so it doesn't matter. The reason why his face looks all bloody and all of that shit, but it's not, because he didn't get out of the car. It was a hologram. So it's easily explained. Once you introduce Mr. Nobody, like, this guy has the tech, the resources to do this kind of stuff. So
that's
your way of plot. That's your way of plot. And then on top of that, because they knew that Shaw was coming to kill Han, so they knew about that moment for days, for weeks. Mm-hmm. So that was already set up for Shaw to think that he killed Han, so that they can use that moment to fake his death, to keep Project Ares and to keep L under wraps. So I feel like they actually found a way to make it all make sense, in my opinion. But Vash, what do you think?
I guess because in the Tokyo Drift, it's like, oh, you stealing money from the Yakuza. That's what's happened. That's why he had to get killed and everything. It's like,
and that's exactly. That's why he was working for the Yakuza, because he was working for Mr. Nobody infiltrating the Yakuza, right? So it all makes sense to me, man. It fits.
All right, now I need to see Tokyo Drift now, just for that reason, because now I need to actually see the cut editing if Han actually goes inside the car. Now actually need to see this, because
so here's the thing: you see him getting the car, but you don't see the transition of him walking out of the garage into the car. So it's technically from that point on a hologram.
Okay, so when I watch Tokyo Drift tonight or tomorrow, I will send you a clip as well and be like, is this the moment? Just to confirm. Because if this is true, again, give props to the producers and the writing. If they've been planning this for years, that's props
definitely
to them,
not planning it. They found a way around it. None of this was ever planned. Ever.
Found a way around it is what I mean. Like, they somehow put Post-its on the wall and be like, all right, cool, let's connect the dots here. Let's play Tetris and put it in together.
They fucked up when they killed Han, and they knew that because the film directly after Tokyo Drift is a prequel, because they knew that they needed to bring Han back, right? Mm-hmm. But they knew eventually they would have to get to that point where he goes to Tokyo and dies. So they fucked up. This was never a plan, because if it was the plan, he wouldn't have died. They wouldn't have made prequels to keep Han alive. So I feel like they actually, the writers and the producers, Vin Diesel, they looked back at these other movies and they were like, you know what? this would be the perfect way to bring back Han. Right? We'll make him a spy working for Mr. Nobody, because you have to remember everything that happened with Owen Shaw. Owen Shaw was working for Cypher. So if Cypher is involved, then Mr. Nobody would be involved. So it's really all connected in this weird way. Even though it retcons some shit, they found a way to make it make sense.
And I would say that I love how Letty and Mia figure out with the Mexico flag, like they made things very smart with the symbolism, and they made things connected very well. So I love how they brought that.
They just coincidentally made it to the right place on the right time where they can actually sit down and look up and see a Mexico flag on top of the window. Like, really? Okay.
Yeah, but Tokyo, he said Tokyo was his Mexico, so it makes sense.
Sure. Okay, sure.
It makes sense, but also I love how Han was raising a daughter, and like he felt like without Giselle and everything, like this was his home. And I love how like he just felt like he was being a dad, and I love, like, that was very beautiful that he said like he couldn't leave her because he was getting this for Mr. Nobody, and he had to he had to protect the little girl. And some other people was trying to get this fear, the cold word and everything, and knowing that she's the key, she was technically the whole MacGuffin, which makes sense.
I felt like that was kind of forced though. The whole daughter
really?
is the key. I felt that was forced. That she was the key for Ares.
I can see that.
That was forced.
I can see it being a little cheesy where it's like, oh, well, we wanted to keep it in the family. So the key to this amazing device that could take over all tech on the planet would be our daughter, the family.
Like, that was so forced, bro. That was just...
I'll give you that,
the DNA, I'm like, wouldn't you want this not to be part of the daughter?
It's just so we can add this girl into the family. We'll probably use her for a later date and whatnot, whatever useful.
Hey, we have to broaden the demographic, okay? Yo, we needed more Asians on the team, bro.
How did you feel about Ramsey's driving?
That was fucking hilarious. It was
it was funny.
Okay, so let's talk about that entire sequence, right?
Yeah.
So we have the truck. We have the truck with all of the magnets. I can't wait to talk about all of the magnet scenes. We're gonna talk about that after this. But yeah, Ramsey in this truck just driving it, just destroying everything in sight. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's like, I know you've never driven, but I don't think it's this difficult, honestly.
What I'm more surprised is she's able to at least keep up with like the fast cars and everything like that. And then the whole...
Yeah, right.
And then like he's been going like what, maybe like 0 to 60, and you're probably at a steady 20-25 miles per hour, because if that, and you're driving and you had passengers in the back of the car and truck.
Like, I just love the comedy. I just love the comedy of her commentary, like, oh, this is not my fault. Oh wait, that was actually my fault. I'm like, bitch, all of this is your fault.
Right? Like all of this is your fault.
And if I'm not,
all this chaos that's going on is your fault. How you telling me this yourself? Like, oh, this car just hit. Not my fault. My fault. Wait, no, this is actually my fault. Like, ma'am, you literally have people fighting behind you, and you're controlling magnet and everything. And the way that Vin Diesel tried to rob this truck, but then finding out like, oh, this is the wrong truck. Okay, cool. I see that the whole crew's here, and it just go on another rampage. Vin Diesel's like, oh, you're a natural. I'm like, how is she a natural? She's doing worse shit than but I'm like, wait a minute, never mind. Do cause
she
chaos.
Got the job done. She did get the job done. Good. She turned on the magnets, pulled an entire car through a building. I'm like, okay, that's not how physics works, but who gives a shit?
Somehow she's not, even though she has not shift gears or anything just to keep on going with that truck. She has not stalled for some reason, and yet able to catch up and all that stuff. Like, wait,
she's shifting something, but she's definitely not shifting the right one.
Oh no.
When girl went plus 10, I thought she was gonna rip the building too, because I'm like, the building has buildings have metal too. So I'm like, yeah, exactly, Sam. Those pillars. But again, like since like James just said, the law of physics, all she did was just grab the car only. I'm like, she was technically supposed to grab the building parts too and everything, because she went plus 10. But hey,
Oh
law of
no!
physics.
Oh, we got our
I'm
phones,
supposed
we
to
got our
ignore.
necklaces, we got our other bicycles and stuff, and then somehow not connected to her. Nope, connects to the people behind her just to help cause the whole traffic and blockage from the back. That does not how magnet work either way. It's supposed to click to you, not literally towards
Well,
whatever behind
these are
you.
special magnets, Sam. Special magnets.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
And
Bullshit.
like Ludacris said, that these magnets are like he has never seen this in the world. So it's very special, unique magnets that only exist here in the Fast and Furious saga. So it's very unique, very special. So overall, the comedy was amazing. I was curious to ask you guys, how do you feel about the white rich, white rich type of villain? Little spoiled kid.
Forgettable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see him as a villain because he was just a cipher puppet and he was just the benefactor for Jacob. So I don't really see him as a villain. He was just a wallet. You know what I mean?
All he said was, "Oh, my daddy's a dictator from another country, and I got all this money." All right.
He was there to explain things. How can Jacob pay for all of this? How did they get access to a rocket to send this thing out into space? Like, he only existed for those reasons.
My favorite scene with the white boy spoiled kid is that when Vin Diesel Dom went inside the mansion.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite scenes when Jacob and Dom did the little gun exchange thing. And I'm like, oh, that was a dope scene. And when Jacob told him, like, yo, I'm going to give you the same thing you gave me. You have two choices. You can leave here and never come back, or you can stay here and fight. And the scene that Vin Diesel said, when he screams that I gave you mercy, that was a beautiful acted out scene. I didn't expect that from Vin Diesel, but the way he acted that scene, like, I gave you mercy, just scream, it shocked me. I'm like, oh, shit. You have done this in other movies like Riddick and everything, but to see you do this in the Fast Saga, I fuck with this.
And then John Cena comes back where, Dad told me to do this.
And John Cena did a really good job in that scene, too.
He did.
Because, I mean, he felt insulted as like, what? Like, no, like, Dad told me. You have no idea what Dad was going through. He confided in me. We were fucking broke. And he didn't want to tell you because you were the golden boy. He didn't want to disappoint you. That burden had to fall on me. You don't get to put all of that judgment on me. Brilliantly acted by John Cena, in my opinion.
And I really was impressed with the fight choreography as well. Yeah. When Dom and when Jacob fought, like, it makes sense that Jacob, aka John Cena, did so good because of his past experience with wrestling. But to transition,
there was actually some wrestling moves in this.
Yeah.
when he was fighting on top of the truck there's always a bigger guy.
That wasn't WWE wrestling, but that was actually wrestling. Though.
Yeah, that was actual wrestling.
Fucking huge.
But there's always a bigger guy. Like when The Rock fought the other bigger guy in Fast 6 and Fast 5, I'm like, there's always a bigger dude.
Yeah.
Yo,
and it made sense.
Choke him out. Just choke him out. That's all he needed to do.
But it made sense why Jacob did so good against Dom, and I'm happy that Dom did not beat him in any of the fights because it shows that Jacob has the better experience in Spy. It made sense why Dom was doing better in the driving because he's been driving a lot more and he's the golden boy. But I'm happy that Jacob, the character, did much better in fighting than Dom because he should have won, and I'm glad he didn't lose in any match because he has the more experience, and he kept saying it throughout the film, this is my world, you're not winning. And I love that because it kept it consistent in the story wise.
And like with Cypher, she kind of Cypher, so you chose to be bigger and stronger than your brother, faster in the cars, and then you also want to choose to be literally stronger and everything better than him, just to get away from his shadow. I feel like it wasn't just words, it was literally real thing of actions and throughout the entire movie where he did match the strength.
Oh yeah.
He also has similar to the same skill. Definitely when a little kid, where you have the younger John Cena character going nitro so early, like too early, like
too soon, which is a great callback to the earlier movies, by the way.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to bring up. That was gonna bring up too. It's like, yep, that he needed a lot more experience. How did he become the golden boy while Dom was in jail? Yeah,
he's still a Toretto.
He's still Toretto.
Yo, and what's funny as well, if you realize, the only time they used nitro was during the flashback, and in the present they use the magnetic stuff. They barely use nitro now throughout the films.
They only use NOS when Tej and Roman are in space.
Yep, that's it.
So it's just like wow. And chat even brought it up much earlier, but saying that how Vin Diesel throughout the films only wears a white sleeve, white t-shirt, white tank top, or something white involving, and jeans and like some type of boots.
So it's pretty much a GTA character, basically.
That's what Sam texted me last night.
It's
like
a GTA character.
They literally grab a GTA character and just put it in a film, like.
And I kept all the cheats from GTA into Dom.
So Vash, you brought up earlier the fight sequence at the base, Mr. Nobody's base. Let's talk about that a little bit. I love this fight sequence. Watching Dom fight against all of those guys all at once, that was fucking sick. That was actually some fights that I would only expect to see from Vin in like the Riddick movies, right? I thought that was absolutely sick. He just picks up this one guy, breaks his back on the railing. And I was on the Popaholics podcast and we were talking about this movie. And it's like, it's almost like they were thinking about the Bane fight with Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, and they just wanted to break someone's back. I thought that was fucking dope. Dom keeps picking up people, throwing them over the balcony. Like, what did you guys think about that scene?
So I don't think I told Sam or last night or just to watch a film, but I'm like, I hope they cast Vin Diesel as the next Bane, because I would love it. Like, I don't know how
I would want Dave actually. I would want Batista.
Really?
Yeah,
Batista.
I'm good with either or. I'm really good with either or, and they're both on the MCU, so that's funny. So I'm really good with either or, but I don't think Batista want to continue.
Both Guardians.
They're both Guardians.
Both Guardians. That is true. But I don't know if Batista wants to continue in a comic book film right now. So maybe he wants to take a break from what he said currently, with Jackson as his character and everything. But Vin Diesel, he only has 3 lines. I am Groot. So maybe he wants to do more lines. But hey, Bane, it's very similar and everything. But I love that action sequence because it literally, somehow my man was going around 20 guys. Like, this literally felt like a zombies match. Literally, he literally had one, but the thing is, it literally felt like a zombies match because he literally had wave 1, 5 guys, wave 2, 10 guys, wave 3, 30 guys. I'm like,
and I gotta make sure to look back. They're okay,
right? He kept looking back like, all right, cool, doors fixed, and then he just kept looking at the gate, kept looking at the door, and somehow more guys kept coming at the door. I'm like, yo. Is there any end of them? Like, where did they come out from? Like, where's the staircase there? Like, where is the guy that kept telling them, all right, go. All right, 5 guys, wait. We cannot overwhelm him. We need to wait. Okay, 5 guys out. Let's go, next one. My favorite is what you brought up, James. The break back thing. When he did the break back thing, like, yo, my dude's literally Bane right now. Because my dude's literally going, Hulk smash. Just kept throwing guys at them.
He just tossing like, I'm tossing this here, over here. All right, there's too many of them. Let me grab these chains and just destroy the pillars on the side. We all go down to the water and shit. Like, it was like, yep.
And somehow I questioned myself before he jumped out. I'm like, my dude, you could have literally escaped, but you just wanted to fight. Like, there's no way you could have just.
They could have escaped.
You already was at the door. They could have escaped with no problem.
He just stayed back. They're not gonna make it. I'm in here. Literally put it
right. Like, hey,
that's hard.
I'm here. Don't worry. I'm gonna just go back there and fight more. I'm like, you just want to stretch your muscle. Like, I get it, Dom. You missed the rock.
He was giving them a chance to get away.
I mean, they came back.
Well, Letty did. Anyway,
they saved him, and then they still kept him in the base. Literally kept him back, and then back to the station. Like, they still came back.
But I had a good time with the action sequence. If I had to give it, like, that's probably one of my top 3 favorite action sequence because it was really manly, just pure fighting, no law on top of physics that happened. Like, this felt
definitely
there's
some type of backing match.
There's physics.
In that match, somehow my man was getting on top, literally 20 guys on top of him. Somehow he just saw Letty in a peak and was like, nah, my woman is screaming for me. Let me just throw. And I'm like, How? If I was getting beat out of 20 guys,
Dom,
I can't get up.
It's Dom.
Super Dom strength.
Yo,
Go.
James, I need to have your type of energy. If I'm ever in a fight, I need to have you in my back, just telling me, "You're Miguel. You got this. I don't care, but you're gonna win." I'm like,
use that
fuck you, James is saying it. I'm gonna just go.
Use that GTA cheats.
Right? Invincibility.
Super strength.
We can't get hurt.
Okay,
that's so good.
So to transition, what did you guys think about the them including the Tokyo Drift crew? It was great to see all of them. It was great to see Sean, Twinkie, and Earl. Like, it was great to see them.
So old.
Which is crazy because Tokyo Drift technically takes place like 5-6-ish years before F9. Maybe like 6-7 years,
something like that. And yet everybody in the crew looks the same. Yet they look like they aged another 15 years
ancient,
or something.
Bro.
Dude, the Asian guy, he was so young in Tokyo Drift.
Bow
Wow
like, looks fat and old as fuck.
You see the dad bod and everything.
Yo, Sam was next to me like, yo, bro, is that Bow Wow? He got fat. I'm like, yes. But why you gotta put that so fast? I'm like, yo, it's just noticeable. But I'm like,
dude, do you remember how he looked like in Tokyo Ghoul?
Yeah, dude, he looks completely different in Tokyo Drift.
I know
Tokyo Drift and everything. But
he looked like,
because that was like the stardom of 2000, where like little Bow Wow, little Romeo, and everybody like that. Like they were so young. They had like much younger. They had the whole Hulk car and everything. I guess he trained up his Hulk car. He trained up his Hulk car for a rocket, for a pack of rockets. I was like, okay.
And I love how Ludacris asked him like,
so did they own like this spaceship or something, this space launch or something like that? Is what I was wondering too.
No, so they kind of are getting money and also experimenting. Like they're probably working for a government, or they're probably having this place to be rented where they could experiment without getting in trouble. So
that's what I assume as well. Yeah, I'm not looking that deep
because they said
yeah,
because I think Sean or Twinkie I can't believe Ludacris even said like, did you ever go by that name?
You ever went by that name?
No, I don't use that name no more.
Like seriously, why would you want to be called Twinkie? I don't know.
Me either. I wouldn't. I'm like, nah.
It was the 2000s.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was just the 2000s.
Yeah, but we did say that we want to talk more about the electromagnet, the unique and special kind of electromagnet.
Let's talk about the magnets.
How do we feel of somehow Ludacris ripping it apart and putting it to each of those electromagnet inside the cars, and somehow using those as weapons, and somehow using a 3-part tank of a car and flipping it down the hill? How do we feel about that?
That was the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Physics never matter in this universe. Physics never really matter in this universe, so
nothing else to be said. That was the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
What is this physics you speak of?
Watching them use the magnets to pull cars to them and then repel them, like Letty magnetizes a car and then flips the car into the big dude that was fighting Jacob. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And then they use the magnets to technically save Jacob, because I think Dom was like using a car, he used his car as magnet so that he could push this car forward, so that when Jacob landed, he landed on the car.
He bumps the car so Jacob can land on that car, and then Jacob can jump to the tank. I'm like, it doesn't matter, man. This is it's just so much fun.
What was beautiful that they did the same thing in this movie when Letty had to get saved by Dom. They homaged that from Fast 6 when somehow, remember when Letty got flipped over the bridge in Fast 6 to get saved? In this film, they did the same thing.
Yeah, he pushes a car.
They like, and then like, oh, that's cute. You did the same thing from Fast 6. Like, oh, that's adorable. But somehow, a lot of physics don't matter. But still, that's adorable. That's cute.
You know it doesn't matter.
But I love how Dom and Jacob work together, because when Mia grabs Jacob, like, come on, bro, you got this, just grab on. And like when Mia,
she's also super strong too to pick up the big brother. Like she's very skinny, while his little brother is like so fucking muscular, and she's able to lift
she
him
held
up.
on to him long enough for him to catch his footing. You know, I wouldn't say that she like.
Yeah, but I was saying, Sam, like she didn't really grab and pull him up. It's more like he grabbed himself.
Blood, huh? That's that Toretto
exactly.
blood, right?
She's still a Toretto, bro.
That's a Toretto blood. Just
Get your shit
up.
together. She's still a Toretto.
Because Cypher even said it. Those Torettos are unique. They got some super soldier's blood somehow. So it's just
they even add
in
in that Torettos have Nordic blood. Is like, oh my god, they're fucking Vikings now. That's why they're so strong. She's pretty much saying that the Torettos are descendants of fucking Vikings. I'm like, okay, sure.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
But I'm like,
that's believable.
I'm like, California is not known to get Vikings. It's technically us, New York, in this section. We're supposed to get Vikings from Canada. So how's California known to get Vikings blood? And they're supposed to be Spanish.
Torettos are special.
Spanish blood don't got Vikings.
They're mixed in. They're mutts.
So,
you know, there are two different continents, right? Literally two different areas, right? Opposite sides.
Yeah, California here and Canada here. New York, Canada makes it more sense. But I'm like, hey.
But
one decided to travel to the flat Earth and thought they would fall off, yet they end up in Mexico or something.
Speaking of the magnets, go ahead, Vash.
I was just gonna make a joke. Like instead of riding boats, they rode cars. Back in the 1400s. Somehow that's how they know how to ride so much good cars and have such good skills with it, because it's in their genes of the Torettos.
Shit, I was gonna say they were Flintstoning it since the beginning.
That's a good one too.
But I was gonna say, on the topic of magnets, like, what did you think of the plan using the car once it's in space to use the magnetic field from the cars to fry the signal on the satellite, and then having to use NOS to essentially turn the car into like a missile,
a battering ram,
a battering ram to
destroy
the satellite.
We get blown up and destroyed. Yeah, you actually would have get blown up and destroyed, but at least they kept that. They kept space science basically. It's like, yeah, it's too cold to start up the energy because that's what that's the battery. You can't, nothing can turn on. Like that. And yet like,
they kept.
I was gonna say
they kept that real, but also
like nitro still works in space in its cold environment and area.
Yes, it does. Of course, it does.
I'm
wondering, like, what's lighting
I love
the
what
fire?
Tej or Taz said, that numbers don't lie.
It's Tej.
In science, Tej. I love what he said, that numbers don't lie, because in science that's partially true. So I love how he said that.
Yeah, but they say that and then they do shit like what happened in the beginning. Like, the numbers don't lie, and the numbers say that you can't go 80 miles an hour and survive through a landmine field. That's what the numbers say.
What I'm more surprised is, like, they never really explain.
It's a flip toss.
I feel like they never really also explain, like how you guys gonna even get back to Earth or anything. Like, even if the whole magnet worked and everything, they never really explain. So how do you guys go back to Earth?
I mean, I guess the car was retrofitted to go through the Earth's atmosphere.
No, they didn't.
There's only so much you can do, James. There's so much you can do. You can't.
No. So from my understanding, from me reading between the lines, when they were at the barbecue, they said that we've been eating space food for weeks. So my assumption is
that's because they ran out of fuel.
Yeah,
they ran out of fuel. The plan was to use the magnet to stop the connection from the satellite and use the rest of the fuel to get back into the Earth's atmosphere and land somewhere, right? But because they used up all of their fuel, they had to dock with the space station, and then from the space station they took like a pod or something back to Earth. That's what I assume. Okay, because that was the point of saving the fuel for re-entry.
That's what I was going to lead into. That they probably took a pod or some type of little, small ship from the space station that they went into. Hey, we're coming in and everything. So that's why I assumed that they were doing, because there's no way they sent like another space, ship just to go save them. I'm like, nah, that's just how deal works. So
yeah.
Like I was gonna say, like the only thing that actually could make sense in logic in space is Dr. Stone. Of how they get back to Earth. That's the only way that's actually realistically, that's actually how you get back to Earth. In the cars, nope, not like that. But
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
and
So let's talk about let's start wrapping up here. Let's talk about the mid credit scene. Let's talk about the mid credit scene and what you guys think that means for the future of the franchise. Well, the future of the next part anyway.
so I go first. That's not a problem. So knowing from Jason Sam's character in Shaw, he never usually fails his mission. He always completes it 100%, and he's usually claimed the best. But knowing that he didn't kill Han is the blemish of his entire like career, in a sort of way.
I mean, I wouldn't say that because I mean that had nothing to do with like a mission per se.
He did it for revenge, but
he was
still,
getting revenge. I feel like he would
spy
be
hitman though. He was the top hitman that was
I feel like
the entire
I feel like he would
business.
be relieved that he didn't kill Han because he's now friends with everyone. If he didn't actually kill Han, I actually feel like that would make him feel better. What do you think?
So I'm with James here because I feel like when I first had the mid-credit scene, and still until this moment, after 28 and 29 hours later, I'm still trying to figure out what were they trying to imply to us, the audience, trying to figure out or guess or try to theory why Han went to see the character of Jason Statham of Shaw. But then it makes me curious to know is that was he there asking for a mission? Because we know that Han worked for Mr. Nobody. We know Shaw used to work for Mr. Nobody. So did they come here to, hey, we need to go find him, or we need to go look for our old boss, or what is it? It could be, or maybe asking him about Ares. Who was it that you knew that came to kill her parents? Maybe that has probably some connection with Ares and the little girl's parents. Maybe that could be the connection because they were both in Tokyo. So that's my assumption. Because if Hans joins the cast with Hobbs and Shaw, I wouldn't mind too because I like Hans' character. Like Sam mentioned earlier, he's such a chill dude. He knows how to sharpshoot, and he's just chill dude.
It's
that
about
likes to
not
eat,
trusting.
food.
It's not trusting Jason though, because he came here just for the whole war revenge thing for Dom's entire family. And yeah, Mr. Nobody and Han used that like scenario of his warpath, make it seem like they killed Han and everything. The whole revenge, the whole like, here's the necklace that was used to be from Dom. Now I'm out, and then call Tom, send a message like, remember, he also mailed the bomb into their house and everything.
He did,
like,
true.
But he's like, I killed one of your friends, and I'm trying to kill like I'm after you guys, and then you blew up the entire house with the whole delivery bomb and everything. He didn't know. He can't know that that Mr. Nobody told him like it was a whole plan, everything and sort of that. He was just being used.
Yeah, Mr. Nobody definitely didn't tell him.
I feel like he would more be angry and hate it because he was used as a means to kill Han, but didn't really kill Han. But either way, you still like hurt my brother. You used me just so like I can follow through with your entire mission to make Han look like he's dead, but I still come after Dom, Toretto, Mia, everybody else to die. I don't know about forgiveness. I feel like it's more like he has more towards the anger and rage towards Han more, even though he tried to kill Han, and Han does not trust him for everything. That sort of stuff. Same thing when it came to Hobbs. Like his Shaw tried to kill Hobbs as well, many times.
Yeah, but they're cool now though, and Shaw is cool with the family. I mean, he was at the fucking cookout. You know what I mean?
He was. And I do want to say, the way Shaw does his nice, beautiful integration, it's fucking amazing. Just beat up the guy in a bag. That's beautiful. Right? My question is, how did he put the guy inside the bag already? It just zips up, curls up. I'm like, and the way we just saw him going at the bag,
yeah, he was beating the shit out of him.
I'm like, what information do you need so badly that you need to literally get a little practice match right here?
And that's the thing. He already had the information.
Yeah, he already had the information.
He did already. Work. He was just having fun. And then we hear the doorbell like, hey, hold up, just stay here. I'm like, where's he going?
Yeah, I expected to see Hobbs, right? I expected to see Hobbs. I did not expect to see Han at all.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I did not expect to see Han at all.
I mean, there's still a lot we don't know about Han. Like maybe he knows where Mr. Nobody is, because apparently he's a little bit Han was a little bit everywhere. We're safe to assume that the guy in the shadow was Han. Like first it was like the guy who saved. He was there to help save him from the bullets and shots, because we at the angle where the two guards got shot in the back. The bullet was in the back, like someone was watching over him. And then the whole shadow of where Mia and Letty was like,
that was Han for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just Han in the shadow being all there and helping the group and team is what I'm guessing is what they're doing.
Yeah. Last thing I wanna talk about before final thoughts. Brian showing up to the cookout. That I didn't see it coming, and it just makes me really happy that they did it. Like when we saw the cookout, we saw the empty chair and Mia tells Dom that he's on his way, and then we see the blue skyline pull up into the driveway. I almost cried, bro. Like Vass said in the beginning of the review, like Brian he's my favorite character, like out of the entire family. So like I'm so glad that they're keeping him alive within the franchise, and to see him pull up, man, like it was the greatest thing.
My theory is that one of the brothers of Paul Walker will continue some partial role in part 1 or part 2.
Please, God,
I believe so.
No, God, please. Please, God, no. Please, God, no. Please.
I feel like they will.
Why? That would be terrible, though. It would be terrible. No one wants to see his brother.
It would not be the whole film.
Face CGI'd on top of it. Like no one wants to see that, though.
It will not be the whole film. It will be like in the end of part 2, just to wrap up the story. I feel like that would be the way to end it, with Paul Walker being there, with Vin Diesel and the family, and with the kids, because Vin Diesel's kid is going to probably grow up a bit more. So, but wait, how did you think about Vin Diesel's kid, by the way, as well?
Yeah, I like the kid. Good. I can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah, it's adorable and everything.
Yeah, but I hope we get a spin-off somewhere in the future where like he's starting to race with his group of friends, telling people that he lives life a quarter mile at a time, and then credits.
I'm pretty sure
that'd be beautiful.
Aren't those that animated kids show that they have in Netflix or something like that?
That's his cousin.
What?
Wait, whose cousin?
There's this animated series on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, but whose cousin?
It's Netflix.
Dom's cousin. It's about Dom's cousin.
I didn't even know a Dom's cousin existed.
Yeah. I mean, he has a cousin in The Fate of the Furious.
Totally forgot about that. So
yeah, the race at the beginning of the movie, he does it because that's his cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, he wanted to get his cousin out of trouble. I think it's a different cousin, that's in the TV series, but I don't give a shit. I don't ever plan on watching it.
No. Oh God, no.
But Sam, how do you feel about my theory or guess that maybe one of Paul Walker brothers
I feel like that's gonna happen. Maybe not for face wise. It's just for just the body shot. That's it. Like literally his back or his side and whatnot. And that's it. And try to avoid the face as much as possible. I don't like it, but I feel like they will. They'll probably edit out his voices from past movies or previous movies in the series and literally edit them and put it in for the last movie. They're gonna probably want to use that and keep the body of Paul Walker, use the body from the brothers just so that make it look similar where it is Brian. You know what I mean?
I really, really, really hope you guys are wrong. I really, really hope so.
Or just not in storytelling. Have him at all, but
in storytelling, I feel like they might do it. They could probably do the same thing like they did with the skyline. Just have him pull up at the end, not have him even show up. Just have some random actor just drive up the car. That could be the case, James. But like I said,
I feel like that would be worse.
Family type of thing.
I feel like that would be worse. Like you go off, you just see the skyline, you just assume Brian's in the car and he's just talking the voices with the edited voice, and he just takes one for the team or whatnot and something, and he happens to be the one that has to die off. No, I feel like this franchise, they can't kill off Paul Walker at all.
No,
They can't do that to
keep
him in
him
general.
alive. Keep his essence alive in the Fast and Furious franchise. As these films go on with spin-offs and Hobbs and Shaw, let Brian continue to exist within the universe. Like I'm not saying like what you guys are saying would be terrible, right? Like in theory as far as writing goes, the perfect wrap up would be able to see the entire family together at the final cookout that we see, right? It would be amazing to see everyone, to actually see Brian at the cookout. But for me personally, I really don't want to see it. I want them to find some other way around to like wrap up Brian and Mia's story. Cause I mean they kinda already have with them being like effectively retired. Mia only came out of retirement because it's Jacob. It's literally her brother that she hasn't seen since she was a kid. So it made sense that she would want to come to fight against or to save her brother. That made sense. But I really, really don't want to see them. But final thoughts on F9.
Dash, you want to go first?
Sam, go first. Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
I thought it was enjoyable. I had a good time with it. It's literally just like what Dash said in the beginning of this video. It's all a guilty pleasure. It's just watch for fun. The whole explosive, the whole nice, beautiful looking, expensive looking cars, the whole ridiculous Michael Bay physics and action explosion, that sort of thing. It's not really full on much of the story. It's just literally the nice cars, the race. I feel like they should have added more of the racing. Cause like, okay, I understand why you had to get rid of the whole the schemes, the plots, the heist and everything, and go on to spy missions and everything. I wanted more like racing, like from the first moves, like the last past movies. Not from the past, like from the flashback where they're younger and they do that one race. Nah, I wanted current present time racing, like just like old times. That's something like that, or at least because even in the beginning of this movie, it was just NASCAR, younger driving, old school style, and then the crazy stunts and styles. Crazy stunts. That's really it. I want just one-on-one, your car versus my car. We're racing for this train. Whoever gets past it is the winner. If you get hit by the train, bro, you lose. Like, can we at least bring that back in from that? Because if you're gonna bring the lines and scenes from the first movie, can we at least have that kind of scenario, at least, or something? I feel like that could have been used to help. Like, all right, the race against my brother. I had this race with Brian all the way in the first movie, but this is like the prequel of it. So let's have us like last race. I'm on my dad's car, you on your own car, and that sort of thing. Because if we all going back to the first movie for retcon and everything, he was afraid of his dad's car, and to use that in a sort of way, I feel like they could have at least brought back that car, the train, and everything. But I don't know. It was still a good, decent movie. I had a good time from it.
Vash?
I had a blast overall. If you ask me from a ranking exactly where does it sit, I don't know where. I will put it in between number 4 through 6. I know James has it on his number 6 right there, but I had a blast with it. Entertainment value is high off the rocket. Like, this is where I'll put Transformers films, Indiana Jones film, like films that just has a great time with it, and it's just pure entertainment. It's pure, like, it doesn't have great storyline and everything, but as long as you're enjoying it, you're enjoying the cast, you're enjoying the three-dimensional characters, and not just the one like character. You're enjoying the family, you're enjoying the message, and you're not trying to critique it like, oh, it's not something about Oscar film, like it's a perfect and everything. No, it doesn't need to be. As long as you're being entertained, I feel like it does its job. Is that's why it's in the blockbuster in the blockbuster season, because it literally always comes up between May through August, and that is the point of this film, and I love it. And what is my overall final thoughts is have fun with this film, be entertained. The whole I do agree with what Sam and James brought up. The last race, I would have loved to see in a race, but maybe we'll get that in part 1 or part 2. A last race between Jacob and Dom, that would have happened. But the overall villain, the message that Jacob was technically misunderstood as a brother and never truly questioned to know the full story. Yes, and I love how Dom figured out that was his fault as a brother, that he messed up on that end, that he turned down on his family, that he preached all about family, but he turned his back on his brother. So I love how he learned that message, that he fucked up and everything. And it shows that humans, as much as we try to preach what we try to bring and try to believe into the people, we also do make mistakes and make those mistakes in the shows that we're flawless. So I love how this film shows that about Dom and his character, and it shows to Jacob that, hey, I forgive you. Here's a second chance, like somebody else gave me a second chance. So I found that very beautiful. I found that very impactful. So I was entertained by that. And to me, if you didn't get that message out of the film, if you didn't really receive that type of homage to the other films, then I guess it wasn't for you. But as long as you was entertained, then that's the film did its job.
Yeah, man. I have to echo a lot of things that you said. Like, I love that no matter how crazy this franchise gets, like at the core, it's about family and how they introduce Jacob into the family. And although Dom can seem like this perfect character, they took this time in this film to show that, no, Dom also makes mistakes. And he came around. He saw his mistake middle way through the film, and he realized, you know what, like, I should give Jacob another chance, like you said, Vash, just like how I was given a second chance to turn my life around and do something different. I love these movies. I will always love these movies, no matter how crazy they get. Another reason why the Fast and Furious franchise is so special for me is because I don't find the Transformers franchise entertaining. I don't find the Jurassic Park movies entertaining. So I don't really have those huge, big blockbuster films outside of the Fast and Furious franchise in a lot of different things that I can call, like, this is where I go when I just want to see some crazy high-octane action that's just a popcorn movie. So absolutely loved F9.
Agree.
It's my 6th favorite film in the Fast Saga. And I can't wait to see where it all goes. Like I said before, I don't care what they do. They can go back in time to meet Doc Brown. They can go back to fucking dinosaurs. They can drift around the moon to destroy an asteroid. They can go to fucking Mars. They can join MIB. They can join 21 Jump Street. I don't give a shit. Just give me Fast and Furious and I'm good.
I echo what James just said. If they join James Bond with Mission Impossible, with G.I. Joe, that would be the most octane. But I'm saying, like, if they somehow join like that, that's the most octane shit. I'm like, all right, cool. Put it in my veins. I need that drug. Let's go. Like, let's go.
How
like,
do we
this
stop
is the vaccine I need.
How do we stop this army of Indominus Rexes? I got it. Call Dom and his team. Boom. Done.
Nitro, no, magnetic. You know what? Flying bullets. You know what? Flying missiles. Let's go. Let's go.
But yeah, man, I absolutely love this franchise. I don't care how crazy it gets, like I says. At its core, it's always about family. Vin Diesel is one of my favorite actors. I think he's so fucking badass. He's so awesome. And I'll watch him do anything. But any other thoughts, guys, before we wrap up?
I think I'm good.
Fash, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this review of F9, the Fast Saga. Look out for a lot more movie reviews. Vash and I want to do some more movie reviews. The reason why we haven't been doing it is because my focus has just been villains and just making villains the best show that it can be. But now that more movies are coming out, Black Widow's coming out soon, there's a bunch of other films. Shang-Chi is coming in September, so we're going to be doing a lot more movie reviews. So make sure you guys share the video, like the video, so that the algorithm can like us, so more people can find our videos and our reviews. Make sure you guys stick around Friday for Villains. We will be talking Loki episode 4. Haven't seen the episode yet, but I've heard a lot of crazy shit happens in this episode. Tomorrow night is Anime Lately episode 100. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Anime Lately. Make sure you guys show up tomorrow night for episode 100. We'll be playing Among Us with some fellow content creators, some friends. So it is going to be a fucking lit time. Vash, where can the people find you?
Follow me at Legendary Vash everywhere else. And I want to echo what James just said. Please tweet at us if you want us to review some movies, some old movies, some retro movies as well. Me and James will bring that out. And it doesn't have to be a full spoiler review like like an hour review. If you want us to review Snake Eyes, it could just be me and James and just give you a 10-minute review, and we could pre-record it, stuff like that. So please give us your thoughts about it. What tweet at us, comment down the videos that if a movie comes on Netflix, Amazon as well. If you guys want us to review about it, it is more of you guys, the audience, as well. If you guys want content, give us what you guys want, because we cannot just make content and there's no views for it, there's no traction for it. The YouTube algorithm is always against content creators are small, so you got to help us in the community as well. So join the Discord, follow us on Twitter, follow us on social media, because it will help us grandly. So thank you very much, guys, for any of you guys support that don't even comment. If you're just watching us, you guys also support us. But if you guys just let us know what you guys want, it helps us tremendously. Thank you very much. And Legendary Bash, Anime Lately, C4 Spoiler, anywhere else. Thank you.
Sam?
Guys, yes, Anime Lately episode 100 is tomorrow night, and we are going to be like Roman and Tish. We're gonna literally have the whole blow up suit and literally the whole Among Us killing each other and whatnot, and that sort of way. We're gonna have a lot more people joining us as well that night as well. As always, you can always follow me at Sam Mangman on all my socials, and catch us tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, you guys know you can find me Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at JB Exclusive. Head on over to carefulforspoilers.com. We have some new articles over there if you want to find links to the other socials and all of the other podcasts on the C4S Podcast Network. You'll find all of that over there. Until we get monetized, if you want to support us, we do have a Patreon. The link to that is on the website as well. We are currently working on merch. I'm looking at some t-shirts, some tank tops, some joggers, some other accessories. So we have some merch coming for you guys. So there'll be some other ways that you guys can support the show. So yeah, make sure you guys are following all of us on all of our socials. Tune in tomorrow for episode 100 of Anime Lately. Tune in on Friday for the Kobe episode of C4S Villains episode 24, where we talk about Loki episode 4. And we will see you guys on the next one.